Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 241. Happy Monday. Is it happy? It's a Monday. I don't know. Tuesdays, I always talk about Tuesdays are worse than Mondays for me because at least Monday it's like a refresh, a reboot, at least in the COVID era. Pre-COVID and coming up in post-COVID, Mondays will probably stink again. But for now, it's kind of like a differentiator. What's up, Brad? Good morning, Zach. So today, don't really have much to talk about on Mondays, but I did rip into one of the packages that have recently been delivered. I still have probably 8 or 9 packages that I have not opened yet. I think I'm at the point where I just want to open them all at once so I don't get them all mixed up. George, what's happening? So my package came. It's a junk wax Mailday from my buddy Neil, a good friend of mine, lived in Illinois, for several years. He's out in Colorado now. So his mom sent me a box of cards. What's up, Dan? His mom sent me a box of his like childhood cards, last year. And he came across some more, and the box had his brother's name, so he might have dug into his brother's cards. But it's all like junk wax, same age as I am, so it's a lot of like junk wax era. But it's always fun to go through and maybe there's a diamond in the rough. And he's like, if you find any really good cards, let me know. And so. There was actually, I was surprised. There was a box, which it was kind of like, it was like the junkiest of junk wax, like banged up, creased, corner dings, commons, like no stars. I did pull the Cubs because, of course. But then there's pages where there's some better cards. So I'll show those off today. Had my fantasy baseball draft yesterday. I won't go into details because I know the only person that enjoys talking about fantasy baseball draft, fantasy baseball teams are the people that are talking about them. Nobody cares that's listening. So what's up, Ken? Good morning. So it's a keeper league. I adjusted my strategy this year. I went with 3 starting pitcher keepers because they were good. What's up, Jenny? Good morning. So I kept Zach Gallen, Yu Darvish, and Jack Flaherty. And then my hitters, I kept, good morning, Diego. I kept Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor. So I had the 7th overall pick, and I can't remember who I took with that first pick. I wanted Adalberto Mondesi to get those steals. So my strategy was to draft a top tier player for each of the categories. So I wanted a stolen base guy like Mondesi, but he ended up going like 4th, I think. So he was plucked away. Charlie Blackmon was my first pick at 7 overall. And again, it's technically 67 overall, 12 team league, 5 keepers. So I wanted to pick off like guys, I wanted a home run hitter. I wanted a batting average guy. I wanted a stolen base guys. And then pitching, we also have holds as a category. So that puts kind of a wrench in things. But I was able to get, I think he's from the Twins, Trevor Murphy, somebody. But he's projected to have a lot of holds. So I picked him up. I didn't want to start the run on closers for getting those saves. I didn't want to go too early. But Liam Hendricks from the White Sox went pretty early, maybe 3rd round. So I went, and when it came back to me, Aroldis Chapman was still there. So I plucked Chapman, and then I picked up another couple closers. In years past, I've like punted on closers because you can usually get them on the waiver wire throughout the year, and especially with holds. But those have been my weakest categories. This is like my 5th year in this league. And that's historically been my weaknesses. I overlooked them in the draft, and I think, I'll just get them on the waiver wire. But they've always been poor categories for my performance. So decided to pick. No, Brad, it's a keeper league, so it's technically 8th round. So there's 60. We keep 5 players on each team. Yeah, so yeah, Liam Hendricks went in the 8th round, and then I took Chapman either might have been 9th round for Chapman. So yeah, so that was yesterday. Good stuff. I really like my roster and how I built it. But usually when I like my roster, that means I don't fare too well. So we'll see. So I'm looking forward to opening day on Thursday. I was able to pick up. I was concerned early on. It is a keeper league, and so I don't like drafting older established guys. I like to have a mix. But I was actually able to get some younger guys, and so Alec Baum is my third baseman. I kind of my corner infield. There's strong guys throughout. So I went Ryan Mountcastle at first. He was a later round pick. Ryan Mountcastle's my first baseman. Alec Baum at third. So Brad, Brad, here's my lineup. So JT Realmuto is my catcher. I've got Mountcastle at first, Ryan McMahon at second, which is nice because McMahon is kind of a home run hitter. He's projected to hit about 25, so that's good for second base. Alec Baum at third. Francisco Lindor is my shortstop. I've got Juan Soto in left field. I've got another young guy in the outfield, Dylan Carlson from the Cardinals. Charlie Blackmon's my right fielder. I've got Victor Robles as a utility. He was kind of one of my stolen base guys. And Franmil Reyes is another utility spot, and I picked him up for home runs. And then I've got Raimel Tapia, John Birdie, who's a stolen base guy, Bobby Dalbec, and Jorge Polanco on the bench. I mentioned my keepers were 3 of my 5 keepers were Flaherty, Gallen, Darvish. My other starters, I've got Patrick Corbin from the Nationals. And then I picked up 2 really young guys that could be, we'll see, Brady Singer and Casey Mize. So I've got a nice mix of potential long-term guys, potential keepers. So we'll see. And then so my closers, I've got Aroldis Chapman, Joakim Soria, and Mark Melancon. Melancon could be a split guy between saves and holds. And then for holds, I've got Tyler Duffy and Yimi Garcia. And so that rounds out my roster. So what's up, Herman? Good morning. So that's what, yeah, catcher's always a weak spot. So I wanted to, Real Muto was up there. Salvi Perez was available when I wanted to take a catcher. And catchers are tough to gauge as well. So I wanted to get one of the top 5 catchers earlier on. Herman's got his fingers crossed that Topps Heritage shows up today. So I've not received my order confirmation from Topps for my hobby box. So it's looking like it won't be here for opening day, which I wasn't expecting it. I think Topps will probably ship those out today or tomorrow. So I'm thinking probably Saturday, Sunday when my hobby box from Topps arrives. So I've got my other stuff. I didn't make it to Target at all this weekend. I thought about it yesterday. I went on a grocery run, but it's just like, yeah, I'll pass. Nothing really that I want. Dan wants to hear a Damon Berryhill story. Dan, I don't have a single Damon Berryhill story. I mean, I love his 89 top. The only thing I've got on Berryhill is I love his 89 tops. It's the rookie gold cup, and he's like in a full-on, like straight up jumping catching mode. Like he's catching an errant ball from the outfield. So I'm sorry to disappoint. I've never met Berryhill. I don't have any connections. So the only thing Berryhill I have is I love his 89 tops rookie gold cup card. In fact, it probably came in the cards that Neil sent me. So there was a box, and they were like really banged up. junky cards, but there were Cubs. So I pulled all the Cubs. And so you kind of get the feel. There's some yellow 91 Fleer, some 87 tops, 90 tops. Looks like maybe Rick Rona, 89 Fleer. You've got the Rhino. So yeah, all commons from the junk wax era. Oh, hey, here it is. I knew it'd be in here. So that's Damon Berryhill's 89 tops rookie gold cup. That's just a sweet card. Probably my favorite. Like, this is my favorite set as far as like from my childhood. And from this set, this is probably my favorite image on the 89 Topps Cubs set. Just a sweet card. Damon Berryhill. That's awesome that was in there. So then there were, I think the best part of what he sent was these 3 cards, because they're in top loaders. So I've got 3, and these are they've been through the these might just be like protectors in a shipment. So Scottie Pippen from like 92 Upper Deck, put that over there. You've got Steve Kerr, and there's a Doc Rivers on the back. Those are kind of dinged up. Got a Sterling Sharp. Somebody on the back. Oh, Gretzky. So there's a Gretzky in there with Sterling Sharp. Then there were some newer cards. So surprised to see 2007 in there. David Ortiz and David Wright. And then there was the pages. So there was nothing in the box, but the pages, there was some cool stuff. So there was a hologram of, it's from the Looney Tunes. Doesn't have, it's a blank back. It's just like a monster. So it's not a player. So the hologram is down there. It's not a baseball player or anything. It's kind of a monster. So some random cards there. Nothing there. There's and some of these are banged up. There's a Pippin from Team USA. Those were cool cards. Some Chris Webber. This was the era that I was into basketball cards. That 92, 93 Ultra, Chris Webber. So this is really cool. This in my buddy Brandon's trade box. It's some type of foil from Upper Deck Larry Johnson. I've never seen that card. It's some type of short print or promo, TM3, maybe it's an insert, Team MVPs. So I'm going to sleeve him up, put him in the Larry Johnson pile. So this is a card. So there were a couple Jordans. So this is pretty cool. This is, I think it's just a Broder. So that's a pretty sweet Michael Jordan card. It just says Sports Edition on the back. So this is just this is your typical late 80s, early 90s custom, commonly referred to as a Broder. It's not really a Broder, but basically any of those customs, that's what we call them. I'm going to go up to the chat real quick. Zach says, does the 88 Topps traded Ty Griffin count as a Cub, the Olympic card? I do count that. So I have kind of a weird like what counts and what doesn't count. It's not black and white. It's totally gray. I count that. I'll count, like, there's some other guys in that set. Let's see, Mickey Mourindini and Scott Service have Olympic cards in that 88 set. I'll put one in my collection because they weren't primarily Cubs. Now, Ty Griffin was primarily Cubs minor leaguer. He never made it to the big leagues, but he was a Cubs first round pick, and he spent 3-4 years in the Cubs organization and then only a couple years in other organized franchises. So I do count that. Some of the more current Panini stuff, Nomar, I'll usually put a couple in as a Cub, even though he's primarily would be considered a Red Sox, I think. So guys like that, I would. It's kind of like hit and miss on what I count, what I don't count. So let's see. Dan, I'll be sending the 2006 Tribune Cubs. Nice, thank you. 2008. Okay, very cool. Thank you. So Jenny, the current Cubs count is it's 569, like 569,800. I think 569,818 is the current count. I have not counted these. I have not counted the last two. I have not counted my hair or top or the most recent tops that I opened. The first tops has been counted. And I still have like 8 packages that I haven't opened yet. So probably around 571,000. There's probably 1,000 or 1,500 in boxes that I haven't opened yet. So here's another, this is a Bulls schedule, and it's got Michael Jordan on there. So I'll pull him out. And I think there was one more Jordan on here. What's exciting is I do have a big trade of about 50,000 that I'll be doing in June. And that's kind of what my focus was for 2021, was focus on eBay sales in large bulk trades. So that'll be fun. Some hockey from the early 90s. More hockey. And these are like just to show. I mean, I don't think they're anything special. They're just junk wax era, early 90s hockey cards. Blackhawks. My buddy is a diehard Blackhawks fan. He's into hockey, so there's more hockey and more hockey and more hockey. Hockey's kind of like soccer to me. I don't do it. More hockey. There's a lot more hockey than I thought. So, okay, here's some baseball. So this is a nice little mix. We've got a Grace up there on the top. There's a Pudge, Zach Sky, Carlton Fisk. You've got Jose Canseco, Chris Sabo and Will Clark, Dave Winfield, Barry Larkin. Got a Pete Rose right there in the middle. So some cool stuff there. Here you've got a Greg Maddux. That Bo Jackson 91 Fleer is just creased right down the middle. So some junk wax. Here's another Cub. We've got Greg Maddux up there in the corner. Pretty cool Mark McGuire card. Another Cub down there, Ray Sanchez. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, we've got a Big Hurt. That's a cool, was that 92 Upper Deck, 93? 92 Upper Deck Frank Thomas. And the Big Head Joe Carter. Some other random. Got a post Barry Bonds here. There's Mickey Mourindini. Prospect card. There's a Nolan Ryan Coca-Cola card from 92. Got a Griffey Collector's Choice. What else do we have on here? Not much. A McGuire triple play. Some more Nolans. Oh, that Stadium Club Griffey's banged up. Some of those career highlights from Pacific. The Griffey Stadium Club, nice card, but it's banged up. It's got a bunch of creases. That's a bummer. Here, how about this page? Here's a good page. We've got Nolan Ryan and Rhino. Cool page. And here's all Rhino. So we'll get those added to the count. So that was one of the packages that that Neil sent. Let's see. Adding those extra cards helped me get the 86 Donruss Rookies Bow. Yeah, that's a sweet card. Those, and it's so simple too. In like the 86 Topps traded Bo Jackson, it's just a simple image, but man, it's just iconic. It's a very cool card. Sorry, I'm going back through the chats. Dan wanted to hear a Mickey Mourindini story. I don't really have. I've never met Mickey Mourindini either. But Mourindini played with the Cubs when I returned to baseball cards in '98. So I was picking Mourindini Cubs cards. Like, I thought it was so cool. Like Mickey Mourindini, Jeff Blauser, some of those guys that for the longest time, when I had previously, I hadn't watched, when I started watching baseball in '98, I pretty much gave up. I started following basketball in '92, '93. And I kind of just drifted away from baseball. And then when the strike happened in '94, I completely drifted away, didn't pay any attention to baseball. So Mickey Mourindini was a Philly, like a young Philly, when I had last watched baseball. Jeff Blauser was an Atlanta Brave. And so now I'm going through these dime boxes at the card shop, and I'm seeing a Mickey Mourindini Cubs card and a Jeff Blauser Cubs card. And it was so cool to me because for the longest time they were Phillies and Braves. And now they have Cubs cards. So it was pretty cool to see those Cubs cards. But that's really, I don't really have a Mickey Mourindini story because I've never met Mourindini. So don't have much. Diego Mourindini was one of his favorite Phillies. I didn't know Mickey played for the Cubs, but I'm floored that Blauser played for the. Yeah. So, and that was the '98 team. So the '98 team that made the playoffs, they won the 1-game playoff, and then got the wild card. But they were dispatched immediately in the playoffs. So '98, the Cubs had Mickey Mourindini, Jeff Blauser, Gary Gaetti was at third base. So we have some of the same people in our PC. Yeah, Jeff Blauser. So yeah, there was an interesting mix of some guys. I'm gonna try to let me go because there were a couple other guys that are escaping memory. Let's see. Mickey Mourindini played for the Cubs. For some reason, Baseball Reference, the website, does not work well. It's probably my internet, but man, it is super slow to load, which is weird because there's no images really. There's a small little thumbnail picture. I don't know what it is about the Baseball Reference website. Now I don't even know if it seems like my whole computer's frozen. Because I can't even click back to the YouTube. So I don't know. Am I still on? And you can answer that and I won't be able to see it. Okay. I'm completely frozen. I don't know if I'm still live. Thank you, baseballreference.com. You've crashed my computer. Mickey Mourindini played for the Cubs, '98. Gary Gaetti was on that team. I've got some movement. Am I still there? Okay, cool. Sorry. My entire computer froze. Baseball Reference is terrible. I'm going to reach out. So Mourindini played for the Cubs in '98 and '99. He actually finished 24th in the National League MVP race in '98. So the '98 Cubs, Scott Service was at catcher, Mark Grace at first. Mourindini was at second. Blauser was at short. Jose Hernandez was at third base. And then your outfield was Henry Rodriguez, Lance Johnson, and Sammy Sosa. Brant Brown was a pretty key part of that team. Who were some of the other names? Tyler Houston was the backup catcher. Kevin Ory, who was a top prospect in the mid '90s. Gary Gaetti was the backup third baseman. Glenn Allen Hill was on that team. And then some guys that just played kind of some handful of games. Manny Alexander played quite a bit. And then your starting rotation was Kevin Tapani, Mark Clark, Steve Traxel, Kerry Wood, and Jeremy Gonzalez. Rod Beck was the closer. And then there were some relievers that I kind of forget about as being Cubs. And those guys include Bob Patterson was on the Cubs. I remember Matt Karchner because he was traded for John Garland. So that's a bummer. Who else? Tony Fosas. I always forget Tony Fosas was on the Cubs. Chris Haney, who was an Expo for a few years. Kurt Miller, who started with the Pirates. So some other guys, Terry Adams, great follow on Twitter. Terry Mulholland, Amori Telemaco, Mike Morgan, Rodney Myers. So that was the 98 Cubs. So Zach, yeah, Lance Johnson had quite I think Lance Johnson played a few years with the Cubs. I think he came over in like 95 or 96. So Lance Johnson was with the White Sox from 88 to 95. Then he played for the Mets. He was an all-star in 96. He came over to the Cubs in 97. So he played for the Cubs for 2.5 years. Came over in 97 for the Mets, and then played on the 98 and 99 teams. And it seems like, and maybe that's when I came back and I was watching baseball, so it seemed, I was a teenager, so it seemed like a longer time. So he was traded from the Mets to the Cubs for Brian McRae, Mel Rojas, and Turk Wendell. The Mets sent Johnson, Mark Clark, and Manny Alexander. So, yeah, Lance Johnson, Chicago Cub. Yeah, Glen Allen Hills, rooftop home run. Diego left the Cubs to follow the local Phillies. Good morning, Mark. So there we go. Oh, did I? Oh, okay. I'm going to go back to the chat real quick before I end it because I missed someone. I was having baseball reference problems. So Zach says, thinking of starting a random PC for Joe Randa. Went to my high school and played baseball with his half brother. I have his rookie, but that could be a fun George Lake side project. That would be cool. Big Shep does that with Garrett Hampson. Garrett Hampson, I think, is best friends or really good friends with Garrett Hampson's like first or second cousin. And I think he's met Garrett, so he's got a Garrett Hampson PC. Get out of the AOL chat room and you should run faster. Yeah, when Sosa was on the Orioles, there's some, and I wasn't watching baseball much in the, and it was probably wasn't as much not watching baseball, but not collecting cards. So I'm going through like some of the random years that I didn't collect, like 2002 or 3, 2005. And I'm seeing like a Sammy Sosa Rangers card or an Orioles card. And one of the ones that, John Smoltz with the Cardinals really got me. So there's some like just random, it's like, man, I forget they were like 1 year with a team and I totally forgot. So it's always fun to go back and see. That's a great question. If the Gumbel brothers have any cards, I think Greg Gumbel has a card in the 89 Pro set, football set. Because that 89 Pro set had announcers, and I think, let me check. I'm going to Google that real quick. I'm pretty sure Greg Gumbel had a card. Maybe not. I guess not. I thought he had an announcer card in that set because I know Brent Musburger had a card in that set. I think Chris Berman had a card in that set. Okay. I was gonna check trading card database, but my autocorrect was giving me fits. So, Smoltz with the Cardinals, yeah. Mark says he thinks he has a Greg Gumbel card from a recent set, Gypsy Queen, maybe. Oh yeah, and maybe Allen and Ginter. Let's see if my computer bring up TCDB. That does sound familiar. Gypsy Queen or Allen and Ginter. Well, there's no Bryant Gumbel on trading card database. Oh, so Greg Gumbel, yeah, Greg Gumbel was in the 2012 Allen and Ginter set. So he had a base card, he had an autograph, and then the minis. Doesn't look like he had a jersey relic. He had the auto, base card, all the minis, printing plates. Oh yeah, he did have he had a, looks like a, is that a, looks like he had a relic. I can't tell if it's a mini frame relic though. But yeah, he had auto, relic, and base card in 2012 Allen and Ginter. So that's cool. So that's what I had for today. Have a great, wow, it's 7:45 already. Have a great Monday. Check out Brad coming up next on his channel, Texas Card Dude. Have a wonderful Monday, and we'll talk tomorrow.